Toby, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm arriving now.
Awesome. Love the background.
Yeah,
Looking
great
sharp,
for you.
as always. Good plug. I got my ManyChat mug right here in the background.
Great.
I know it's a little harder to see behind me right now. In fact,
Do you have any other swag? You have any of the sweaters or there's
I
great
have a
logo. I love it.
great. Oh my gosh. Okay, so sweet brag about ManyChat. When I spoke at your conference, and this is off-topic brag. When I spoke at your conference a year and a half ago now, a year ago, I got this really nice swag gift box of things, and one of them is a nice like ice mug. Well, it's a hot cold kind of like coffee mug thing. The other day, I filled it up with an adult beverage, and so a lot of ice in there, and I drank it, and it was empty. And the next day I go to like clean it out, and the ice is still there, and it's like, wow, 24 hours later, and this thing's just sitting out on the counter. So this is some good high quality stuff. Okay, that was my off topic rant for this session. Not for the day, that's for sure. Toby, let's talk Messenger. Let's talk SMS. We heard a little bit about this from Billy, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can use, maybe it's abandoned cart messaging, and how we use this to spark conversations and get people coming back to purchase from us.
Yeah, yeah. So this is going to be a bigger overview on chat marketing as kind of a wider concept than
Love it.
on-site or specifically inbound, right? So good morning to those of you who don't know me. My name is Toby. All right, I'm part of ManyChat's product marketing team, and today we're going to talk about combining Messenger and SMS marketing, or as we call that larger category, chat marketing to close more sales. And so what you're going to walk away with today is one, why it's pivotal to incorporate chat into your strategy if you haven't already. A couple of ways that you might use chat marketing, but this presentation is by no means all-encompassing. There's a lot more that you can do than what I'm going to present today. And we're going to move into some real tactics that we see benefit a lot of our users, as well as a couple of real-life examples of those tactics. But let's start with a problem that I'm sure almost all of you have, right? Sales don't close the first time. People come to your site, they put something in their cart, and they disappear. And in fact, according to eMarketer, 81% of all carts are abandoned. Now, this happens for a variety of reasons, but remember, this is still a really high intent action. Most people who put something in their cart do still want your products, but they get distracted or their browsing behavior doesn't have it happen in that moment. So there's a pretty clear solution here, which is get their attention again. If you bring them back, many of these people are going to buy. And traditionally, this is done through retargeting ads or via email if you have that information. But we do want to point out that in a mobile world, email isn't really enough. It has low open rates, it has low click-through rates, it has fairly low engagement, and it's not very interactive. Now, this isn't to say that email is bad. Email is a great medium that I'm sure many of you use to get a lot of money. But as browsing behaviors shift, it's better to go to a solution that lives where your customers do, and that is chat marketing. People spend much more time on their phone, either texting or interacting through messaging apps. And as this behavior becomes more and more common, it's more and more important that you interact with these people in something that they're familiar with, right? As a result of this, you can get more store visits, more completed checkouts, and more reviews, which kind of brings you back into more sales. And you might ask, so what makes chat so much more effective? And there's a couple of unique advantages. Number one, it's mobile first, right? People now spend more time browsing and buying on mobile devices than on any other device. It's also responsive. Chat marketing is instant, it's interactive, and it's personal. And all three of those are important conversion metrics that bring greater engagement, more attention to your brand, and eventually more sales. So let's start with mobile is the default. If you haven't bought into this yet, it's time to. All right, in November of 2019, for the first time in history, mobile traffic in the US surpassed desktop. All right, you can see it's this little green line down here coming up and jumping over in the end of last year. And to give you some context on that, in 10 years, it's gone from 2% of page views to 52% of page views. And it's not stopping, right? You might ask yourself, what about actual sales? Well, 64% of all retail e-commerce is now mobile e-commerce. And this will vary by different regions. Obviously, Asia Pacific is driving a chunk of this, but the trend is consistent across all markets. So the point here is start with mobile. It should be the crux of your strategy, not a second thought. And you ask, how do people connect on mobile? Well, number one is people love texting. All right. Between 18 and 54, more than half of people prefer texting as their primary means of communication on mobile. 5 billion devices across the world are mobile enabled. And for reference, that's more than there are active email addresses on Earth. All right. Getting even more into the future, look at messaging apps and their explosive growth. All right. Over 2.5 billion people already use messaging apps between Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, WeChat, some of the smaller ones like Viber, it's Telegram. It's getting huge. And this growth rate is continuing really, really fast. In fact, by 2022, 3 billion people will be using messaging apps across the world. And that market penetration is already 87% of all smartphone users are active on at least one messaging application. In addition to this, you see that more and more people are preferring messaging apps as a way of communicating with companies. Now, this is a little more slanted towards younger demographics. You can see here 18 to 40 being the primary zone, but just like everything else, this is on the uptrend. The point here is that chat is everywhere. The majority of your customers use it, they interact with each other on it, and it's time that you start talking to them where they live. And even if it wasn't anywhere, there are a couple of unique advantages that just only happens in chat. Right? Specifically, texting and messaging apps are instant, interactive, and personalized. And each of these have really big, important facets of conversion. Let's talk about instant. Right? Speed wins. According to HubSpot, every extra second of load time is lowering conversion by 7%. So that might seem small in an individual context, but think of two scenarios. If you have 5 page loads before someone buys a product, you're looking at lots and lots of load time that stacks up, optimization tasks you need to do to keep that low. Whereas if you can replace a part of or that entire purchase journey through texting or messenger apps that are instantaneous, you're losing a lot fewer people as they progress towards a sale. Interactivity wins. Right? According to Outgrow, interactive content has a 300% higher conversion rate than static content. And chat, by its very nature, is interactive. There's always a back and forth, and so it feels more engaging. Personalized content wins. I don't think that anyone's going to fight me on this. It's been shown for years now that personalization has a huge impact on conversion rates across every single channel. And chat, again, by its nature, is personalizable because you have these micro moments between when someone sends a response and when you get it back. And you can use their data that you have about that person, as well as their behavioral history in that conversation, to change what you respond with on every single customer. So everybody gets a personalized journey made specifically for their decisions. As a result of this, you get way more attention. We see 80% open rates. We see 25% click-through rates. The stats are even higher if you just look at text messaging specifically. And as a result of that increased attention, you'll get more sales or more reviews, whatever your important objective is at the moment. So hopefully I've sold you on the data behind chat marketing as a category, but you might ask what it actually looks like. So I'll go through a couple of common use cases. These were all built on Facebook Messenger. So first, selling products. I went through that scenario of load time versus interacting in app. So this is what a browsing experience might look like going through Facebook Messenger in terms of quickly defining what products you're looking for. Here, we're actually paying for the entire thing with an app, but a lot of successful vendors will link out to their website and make those purchases there. If someone's not quite ready for sale yet, but they want to engage with your brand, you can gather additional contact information, right? It's always important to contact people where they want to be talked to. And so messaging apps like Facebook Messenger, especially when they're preloaded, allow you to collect other points of contact really, really easily. And if you're using a good automation software, instantly contact them on those mediums. Now, once you have that information, sending sales and coupons is really, really important. And because of these much higher open rates and these much higher click-through rates, you can eke out a lot more value out of your couponing program. And finally, the problem that we began with, which is cart rescue. Chat is amazing for this. So if you can get that phone number or that messenger contact early on, and you can set up a series of automation to reach out to people when they leave their cart. And what's better about this than other mediums is that because it's interactive, you can immediately address concerns that they had about the product. So here we have Max. He was going to buy this blanket, but he's not quite ready. And he says, the price is a little too high for me. Well, in that moment, we can run a calculation on the blanket. We can say, all right, I know the margin on this good. I can give Max 10% off. He'll feel good about it. He'll buy it, and he'll be a recurring customer. If you're looking for more examples, there's more at ManyChat.com/messenger marketing examples. There's a little link at the top of our website that says inspiration. Check it out if you want to see some other ways that you might use chat. But if you're looking to actually get started, there's 3 big conceptual steps that you want to be prepared for, right? The first is plan your experience. Chat marketing is still marketing, right? You have to go in with objectives, understanding what your customer typically wants to do when they interact with you. Think of chat closer to a landing page or an in-store experience than an advertisement. So you want to go through things like, what common questions would they ask? What is the action that you want them to take next? And once you have an idea of the experience you want to create, choose the correct chat marketing platform. So you might look for one that has cross-channel functionality, goes to more than one chat group. You might look for one that integrates well with your Shopify store or has a thriving community of people who are constantly exchanging information around, what's the best chat marketing strategies. I do know of one brand that has all of those factors, but I won't name names. They do have a cute nautical logo. The second step, right, is to get customers to connect, right? Bring them to the actual chat experience. And this can happen in a variety of places. This could be on your website through a chat window or a pop-up. This could be directly through a Facebook ad or in response to a Facebook comment. A very, very popular one is just URLs, direct URLs. I'll use one at the end of this presentation. QR codes in the physical realm or in the digital realm. So you can print it, you can put it on a business card, you can put it in a box, you can put it on a store, or you can actually just put a QR code directly in a digital medium. I could have, had I planned better, put a little QR code right here. Now, there's also going directly through text, right? So communicating, text this number, use this keyword, and starting a conversation there. In all of these cases, remember that incentives help, right? You're asking someone to give you their contact information. They know you're going to contact them with more things. So give them something in return. I promise that chat users are going to be far more monetizable than users who don't engage with you through chat. So these incentives are worth it. Once you have them enter the experience, make sure that you engage them correctly in close. And what that means is, number one, serve them immediately. If they came in with a specific objective, so you advertised a coupon or they're looking for details on a product, give them the information or the promo that they asked for immediately. All right. From there, you want to nurture them. And depending on your audience, that could be useful information, that could be just entertainment, or that could be directly to promotions, depending on the goods that you sell. As they talk to you, make sure that you're collecting information around that conversation so that you can point them to the most relevant goods. Again, the browse cart conversation or the browse catalog. And if they abandon, now that you've already got their information, it's going to be a lot easier to bring them back. Again, on this aspect of getting much, much more attention, feedback and reviews become a lot easier with chat-enabled customers, right? You can reach out to them after a particular time delay, or you could put that QR code in your box and say, hey, how did we do? How was our product? And if they give you negative feedback, you want to have your customer service team address that. And if they give you positive feedback, you want to route them to a public marketplace where they can brag about how great you are, like Amazon reviews. So let's take these concepts and put them into some more common tactics that we see people be very successful with on our platform. All right, and I know this slide is a little overwhelming, but I wanted to give you a lot of options for pathways. right? So in terms of going directly to purchase or quickly to purchase, we see a lot of people pair Facebook ads, which bring people into Facebook Messenger, browse that product catalog, and then either have a purchase inside of Facebook itself or on their website. So that's very similar to the example that we started with. Another route is very common, is using what we call the comments growth tool, where if you create a Facebook post, maybe you boost it for engagement, say it's for an awesome pair of shoes, and if people comment on it, you reach out directly on Messenger and say, hey, would you like to see when more products like this come out, or offer them a sale in return for their phone number. Eventually, you deliver them a promo or a sale through SMS, and then they come to your website and they purchase. And the great thing about this cycle is that once you have a phone number, you've got permanent access to them through text messaging until they tell you to stop. And so this creates a really powerful loop that you can use to get more and more out of each customer. So in terms of other objectives, say reviews, like I was discussing before, putting a QR code in your shipping box and saying, hey, give us some feedback. Again, if you want to tie an incentive to this, you might do an extended warranty. Register your product by connecting with us on Messenger. Go in, ask them how their experience is, and if it's positive, route them to a review website. And you can do the same pathway entirely with texting. So instead of putting a QR code in the box, you put a phone number and say, hey, text this number to register your product. Ask them for feedback in that SMS conversation, and then route them to the appropriate either customer service if it's negative feedback, or an Amazon review or a Yelp review, whatever your objective is, for positive feedback. If you sell more luxury products or things that require a little bit more personal interaction, you can use things like web chat widgets to qualify leads more clearly before routing them to a live chat agent. And this can happen entirely on your website, or this could happen inside of Facebook Messenger or over text, right? The live chat is very, very flexible. But what you can do is just make sure that your live chat agents are always interacting with people who are valuable, right? You create some specific lead criteria and you route people who are relevant to live chat agents, and people who aren't relevant, you can say, hey, I don't think we're a fit. Let's look at some of these examples in action. So one of my favorite case studies is a luxury pearl brand called the Pearl Source. And the pathway that they created was connecting a Facebook ad into Facebook Messenger, giving people a variety of ways to browse their product catalog and find what's right, and then routing them either to live chat if they needed some more assistance, or to their website for sale. What does it look like? So they had this cute Valentine's Day offer earlier this year, the perfect gift for your perfect love. It offers a 15% immediate service, right, for connecting with them. And they deliver that in the very first message, right? I'm glad you're here. Here is your code. Remember, pearls are always appropriate. Thanks, Jackie Kennedy. And from there, we give you a couple of options on how you'd like to browse, right? Giving your customer options, checking the bestsellers right inside of chat, going to the website and browsing from there. They've already got their coupon, asking a question, right? So there's a lot of different routes that a customer can take, and it's customized to them. As they're looking at inventory, right, they can continue to find new options with a fun little surprise me randomizer, or they could choose to ask an expert. This is where live chat comes in to help them choose, right? Pearls are not a small purchase. They're expensive. And so a lot of people need more information, and this is where live chat can thrive if they don't already know what they're looking for. Now let's talk about results. They got some crazy return on this. 254 offers were redeemed from this campaign for over $64,000 in additional revenue, 12 times the return on their ad spend. And they got almost 600 new people that they can continue to talk to over Messenger for an extended period. Let's talk about a little bit more out of the e-commerce realm, but I wanted to give you something else to inspire because I love this case study. There's a gentleman named Don in St. Louis. He runs a Philly cheesesteak food cart. All right, and he created this amazing sequence where he starts with a Facebook post talking about his cheesesteak, saying comment here, and I'll give you a buy one get one coupon. So if you comment, he reaches out on Messenger. He says, hey, I want to send you this coupon, but I got to send it over text message. Can you give me in exchange your phone number, your email, and your rough location of work, so that I can send you the coupon. From there, he now has their phone numbers, and he also has where they are. He's a food cart. He's mobile, so he wants to communicate with different customers when he's in different places. So as he goes from spot to spot, he reminds people, hey, don't forget, you've got this BOGO coupon. He encourages them to come and claim that using the code. And over time, trains them to keep returning, right? So as he comes back to locations, he sends out a text again and just says, hey, I'm here. If you really liked that Philly cheesesteak last time, come back and get a new one. So he's creating long-term customers that he can contact when it's relevant, only when it's relevant to them, in a very, very engaging medium. As a result, he has over 90% open rates for his text messages. And texting is amazing in that most of that happens within 3 minutes. He got more than $7,000 additional dollars in revenue per month with a 5x initial return on ad spend, an increase in 30% overall for revenue in his business. And I call that an initial return on ad spend because that texting list continues to be valuable, right? So I'm sure that if we were to check in with him now many months later, we would be at the 10 or 12x level because he can continue to bring those customers back to his business through nurturing relationships over text. So that's it for examples. I do want to say that we have a gift for you, like I'm sure every other vendor who's attending. You can chat with us on Messenger, and we will send you a free month of ManyChat Pro. And I do have a little bit more time, so I can show you some of the mechanics behind it. So I don't want you to be intimidated by chat marketing. I know I presented it as something that you need to think thoroughly through. But once you have an idea of what you want to accomplish, the build is actually pretty easy. This is the real experience that if you follow this link, you're going to interact with. I'm going to say, hi, first name, right? Welcome to ManyChat. I'm going to thank you for attending our talk at Conversational Commerce. I'm going to have little wait periods so it feels more like a human is talking to you. And I'm eventually going to give you a puppy GIF. There's a number of those if you want to explore them, but route you to the coupon. Creating this is surprisingly easy once you have a plan. So let's just say a multi-channel example. If someone wants to connect with me on Messenger or SMS or email, it's really, really easy to create, right? I want to send a message, right? They say, talk to me on Messenger. I connect it here. They want to connect with me via SMS, right? I connect it here. Or if they really prefer email, right, you can also add it via email. These builds are really, really easy. The hard part, like most of marketing, is thinking through what your customer wants to do, what they need. And so in making sure that you deliver that. There's tons of other features, but it's all going to be done in a drag and drop interface. With that, we'll return to our presentation, and I'll say thank you all for coming. We have a variety of resources that you can use. First of all, get your free month of ManyChat Pro, try it out for free, have fun with it. If you're interested in learning more about the case studies I talked about today, all of them are published on our blog, and we've also created templates that you can use to roughly simulate the campaigns that they ran. So there's a Pearl source template that will help you kind of set up the architecture of how you might have people browse products or be brought into live chat. There's the food cart one, which is going to be around connecting a comment into getting a phone number. If you want to learn more general information about chat marketing, check out our free course. We have a ManyChat.com/free video course, or join our community. We've got about 90,000 members, and they're all very, very active. With that, thank you guys all for watching me today.
Toby, you're keeping my fingers busy because I get this m.me link. We got to get a link shortener for this one. Oh my gosh. But I think I got it here in chat. And if you guys click on the new link that has the ref on it, this is a fascinating functionality of ManyChat. You're on the product team, so we have an extra second here. I use the m.me without the ref equals W, et cetera, and it doesn't activate. But when I use the reference number at the end, that triggers the sequence that you've got set up there that you were just showing us in the back end. So this is a pretty cool functionality because it means different links can go to the same place but activate like a different flow altogether. Did you put this together yourself as part of the product team?
No,
Tell me
I wish I
what
was smart enough
inspired
to
you.
be an engineer. I'm just slightly close enough to talk to them, unfortunately.
I have that feeling. Yeah, talking about the needs of the customer to them. But I absolutely love that functionality. As you guys can imagine, being able to send men to one thing and women to another, but it goes to the same messenger page, or just separating it based on category or product detail page or order volume, like retention, right? Have they purchased from us before? What's in their cart? Like I can imagine so many different applications for that. So I
Yeah,
absolutely love
it
it.
gets really cool when you start doing things like integrating with, say, your Shopify store, where you can start looking at order history. You can build out things like lead scores. I love the omni-channel approach, where you have conversations on, say, Messenger impact conversations on SMS later, right? As long as you're automating through like a central hub, you can you can take all of these decisions in context, and that makes it really, really powerful. That's that personalized aspect I was talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
So if someone has a history of buying shoes, don't send them dress stuff, send them shoe stuff. It's, and making it far more impactful by sending it through either a text message broadcast or a sponsored message on Facebook. You just get such high interaction rates. And so if you take good marketing strategy, which I'm sure a lot of people watching today already have, and you apply it to mediums where people spend their time, you're just going to have a better result.
Yeah, yeah. Moving beyond email, I think that could be the subtopic of this entire event here. Is how do we get beyond that email that's really just hitting the promotions tab, and that over 90% open rates. I think people's eyes open on something like that and the power of it. So yeah, definitely props to you and what you've been able to create and integrate into the let's call it the use cases, the needs of e-commerce. It's really amazing. And on that personalization component, guys, if you are not like personalization starts with adding somebody's first name in an email, but it becomes so much more than that. We're hinting at targeted flows and sequences based on data we've collected from our user. We're about to release on our site a video with Data Queue, which customizes your homepage experience, which is it's just so phenomenally powerful if you have multiple different categories, or if you cater towards different genders in different ways and stuff like that. And so the power of personalization, I still think that we're in our infancy, or in our early adopter stage of what personalization will be in e-commerce. Static websites will not be a thing in the future, I'm pretty sure.
No,
And of
dynamic
course, static
personalization.
messages are impossible.
It's absolutely the future, and like people want to feel like they're being catered to, right? It works because we want to feel like like you care about me and my decisions.
Yeah, perfect. And Matt asks about your Shopify integration. I know from seeing some of the stuff in the back end that they are working really hard at improving what they can do within Shopify, using Shopify data from your store to trigger events. Toby, you want to give any spoilers on that?
Oh man, product will be mad if I do the release. They like to write the post, but in this month you will see some really cool Shopify stuff pop out. It's worth getting excited about. Yeah, Derek, you've seen it. It's like there's a lot you can do. It's a great platform. We're really excited to work more and more deeply with it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because these are game changers for the merchant when you see what's going to happen. So subscribe to ManyChat's newsletter, email list, get on their messenger list, and they will ping you with updates. And then, of course, it becomes your job. It's on you at that point to make the changes in your tool, optimize the process, test out how it's actually going to work for you. As usual with these events and these sessions, we can only show you the door. You're the one that has to go through it and put in the hard work. And I hope everybody listening today is willing to take that next step, because the last thing I want to see you do is sit through 10 amazing sessions and then do absolutely nothing. That's what scares me about events like this, is knowing that somebody out there isn't actually going to change their process around after getting great advice.